Looks like we're going to have a very tough survival tonight.
What?
And that's because there's a chunk of our opponents nearby.
Really? And if you look closely, their blocks are really cool.
Yes.
So we need to team up.
That's okay. I think we can take out their entire chunk eventually. Well, Mikey, we don't have a lot of time to waste. So first I suggest we take a look around our chunks. There's probably something useful to be had here. And I've already found a chest of diamonds,
Wow.
so that's a start.
I understand that all the good resources will only be on your chunk.
Huh.
After all, my place is made of dirt. So I can just offer you a lot of blocks. So what do we do now?
First, we need to maximize our strength.
Whoa.
And I only have enough for 2 pieces of armor, so I'll give you the boots and make a breastplate for myself. And let's get your tree out of the way too. Maybe there's something under it too.
Who would have thought that even I would have an item box? Although everything in there is probably of very poor quality.
Huh?
Well, here comes our first battle,
yep,
and
yep.
I'm starting to think I went to them too soon. After all, my only weapon is an axe. I wish I'd waited until I could make a sword. Well, I have a good idea.
Are you sure leaving the bridge to the villagers is a good idea? After all, they could sneak into my chunk and try to destroy me. So why don't we just take out a couple blocks? Or all of them?
Don't worry, I'll just destroy them all now. But you're right, we can't leave the bridge intact, so we'd better remove the block so the villagers can't get to us.
Look, let's all burn that
What
bridge.
the-
We don't need it for now anyway. And if you think about it, we could try to make a cannon that fires dynamite.
Whoa.
That way we can destroy them quickly.
That's a great idea. And look how many villagers there are. Looks like they have a secret base inside the chunk, because I've killed a lot of villagers, but twice as many came. There's no way we're going to be able to do this on our own.
It's a good thing we had time to find everything we needed to build this cannon.
Yes.
Now the villagers will know what it's like to challenge JJ and Mikey. But are you sure it's enough to defeat them?
Well, that's what we're about to find out.
Whoa.
At the very least, we can wipe out some of the villagers.
All right, let's fire up the
Boom, boom,
cannon.
boom.
Let's see how many villagers can survive this attack. It's a good thing they don't have a cannon like that, because then we'd be in big trouble.
Yes.
And we have plenty of dynamite, don't we?
Yeah, we got a lot of dynamite, so we can at least destroy their building and part of the chunk. But we still have to adjust the range, because the dynamite can just fly right by,
Seriously?
and then it's all for nothing.
Looks like we're going to get exactly where we need to go. But don't you think there's a little too much destruction? So let's go down to your chunk and get some more weapons. Then we can get exactly where we want to go.
That's right. I have a lot of different weapons,
What
as
the-
long as the gun doesn't break. Mikey, what have you done? Everything was fine, but for some reason, the whole thing exploded.
Oops.
Well, that's not important right now.
I must have just clicked in the wrong place. And by the way, there are still a lot of villagers there. So let's reduce their numbers. You've got a machine gun, which is very handy to shoot with.
No problem. It'll be ready in a moment. I just don't understand why they all came to the surface unarmed. They're not going to be able to beat us that way. I'm afraid they have a secret weapon against us.
What? You really think they could have something like that?
Yes.
If they do, we'd better get in there and find out their secrets. But I don't see how we can do that yet. Do we have to become villagers?
I think we can do that.
Whoa.
So follow me. I was able to collect more diamonds, so
Really?
I can make myself a whole set of armor. Mikey, why don't you make some?
No.
We're gonna have a lot of battles and dangerous moments ahead of us.
No need. I already have armor.
What the-
It's not as tough as yours, but it can still protect me from blows. And don't you think there's a very strange sound somewhere? JJ,
Whoa.
it's a volcanic eruption. What do we do?
How awful. Who would have thought that a volcano would be erupting right now? It's a good thing we have houses to wait out this rain of lava, and I hope it doesn't destroy part of my chunk.
Ah!
That would be bad.
JJ, is there any way you can get to your lab?
Yes.
We still need to make the potion somehow. And to be honest, I feel really bad. I probably have a lot of
Oh,
wounds.
no!
So can you fix me?
I didn't think we'd have it so tough out here. Good thing I have everything I need to survive inside my chunk. So now I have to make a potion. And since I remember the recipe, I just need to combine everything I have.
It's so good to be working as a team today.
Huh?
Because if it wasn't for your help, I'd be destroyed. Either by the volcano or the villagers.
Huh?
And now I have a chance at salvation.
That's it. My potion is ready.
Booyah.
So now I have to get to Mikey and help him. I hope the villagers haven't captured him in the meantime,
Yes.
because then I'm gonna have to make my way to their base. I also need to check on the situation outside. Apparently, the volcano did a lot of damage to every chunk, and it looks like all the villagers are hiding, which is a good thing. Mikey, where are you?
Whoa.
I couldn't find you.
JJ, I'm here on my chunk.
Oh, no!
Except I got hit really hard, so I can't even get up off the dirt. I almost managed to run into the house, but I got hit by a piece from the volcano.
Ah!
So can you help me?
Wait a little while. I'll fix you up. I have blocks of wool, so I can make bandages out of them. And it's too bad you're hurt now, because we won't be able to continue attacking the villagers' chunk.
What?
Although they won't attack now.
Look, if they're hiding inside the vat right now, we can try to get to them.
Huh?
You do have some kind of plan, don't you? I can stand on my own 2 feet, so I'll be fine. You can rest assured.
By the way, I noticed something very strange behind their chunk.
What?
It looks like there's a big island there, but it's very different from ours. So I think we're gonna find a lot of useful blocks there.
Whoa! Sound great, but I don't know how we're gonna get there yet. So let's start by taking a look around the villagers' base. Maybe they have some Ender's Pearls. We can use it to get there quickly.
All right,
Yeah.
let's check it out. Look at how big their underground base is.
Wow!
And to make sure no one realizes we're not villagers, I have a special potion. This is gonna be so much better. Don't talk to anyone too much, we're just watching.
It's so nice here.
Yes!
And now I understand why they have so many villagers. They've built a real town here. And look, they've even got food growing here.
Whoa!
We don't have that on our chunks, and that's too bad. Why don't we take it all?
Quiet, Mikey. They might hear what we're talking about. So let's just go inside. I don't know what would happen if they figured it out, so we better get out of here as fast as we can.
Seriously?
But we can't leave empty-handed. Let's at least bargain with the villagers. I'm sure we can get something useful, although we don't have anything we can give them.
So, I can get gunpowder from this villager, and I even know what you can use it for, so I need to get bread somehow. And now we can harvest the wheat that they grow.
Yeah.
I'll take some.
Yep.
I think you have enough wheat already,
Yes!
so let's hurry up and make dynamite and trade it for gunpowder. The villager might run out of it. And will he have that much gunpowder?
I think it will.
Whoa.
After all, villagers can always exchange everything in large quantities. The main thing is that he doesn't understand why I need gunpowder at all. Because then we're gonna have to run away really fast.
That's it. Now we've got a lot of gunpowder.
Booyah!
Which means all that's left before we can make dynamite is sand. And it's a good thing even that can be found inside their vat. There's not a lot of sand though, so let's get all the sand we can.
I'm sorry. It's just that we need sand very urgently for an important study.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, give me everything you got. I'll make dynamite, and then we have to get it everywhere.
Seriously?
I'm already imagining what a big bang this is going to be.
Boom!
It looks like we can use it to defeat the villagers on this chunk forever. Although who knows, maybe they have another base deeper down.
Well, we won't know that yet, so let's at least destroy this place.
Well, let's run through the houses and put dynamite in them. It's worth realizing the villagers will figure out what we're doing, so we'll only have a couple seconds to blow it all up.
Whoa!
Don't worry, we'll make it work. After all, we did it very quickly, so no one has had time to realize anything yet. And the important thing is to get out of here before the explosions start, because we could be destroyed too.
In that case, we definitely need to do a remote detonation.
Yes!
And I've got some gunpowder left, so we can use that. Can you imagine this place exploding? I've been waiting for this moment.
I already want to blow things up as soon as possible too.
Really?
So get ready, we're about to get started.
Oh! That's it! The process is underway.
Booyah!
It's so cool to watch the powder burn. But we better get to the surface, because once it turns, there's gonna be a very big line of explosions.
You're right, we'd better get upstairs. Although I was thinking, I don't think the explosions can reach this side. So let's just see what happened up there. And look at this,
Whoa!
there's hardly anything left.
This is so
Whoa,
cool! We almost
awesome!
beat everybody! Why don't we look at the ruins left behind by our explosion? Maybe
Whoa.
we can find chests of useful blocks. And don't forget, we want to get to the other island.
Yes!
Looks like we're not gonna find anything here. There may have been chests, but they've obviously been blown up with dynamite. So now it's just villagers' bodies. Let's go, Mikey.
Oh!
Listen, I just came up with a really great idea.
What?
We could make a dynamite cannon and send ourselves to the test island. It'll hurt a little bit,
Whoa!
but I think it'll be worth it.
Sounds like a very risky plan to me.
Yes!
But if we don't have anything else, let's do what you're suggesting. After all, I trust you completely,
Woohoo!
so we can't miss.
Don't worry, we won't fall into the void. I've made this mechanism 100 times. That's why I know what it takes to get us in. The most important thing is to land on your feet so it doesn't hurt so much.
I won't even ask where you learned how to make cannon out of people. But if it works, that's very good. And let's get it ready for our launch. By the way, have you figured out a way for us to get back?
No, I hadn't really thought about it at all. But I'm sure we'll find a way on this island. And now I have to go. Everything went right, so all that's left to do is land.
It's been a long time since I've been to such a high altitude.
Whoa!
JJ, your idea is very cool and scary at the same time.
Well, that's it. We made it to this island. And look, I think we're in for a real boss fight. It turns out all those villagers were his warriors. Somehow we got through them pretty quickly.
Are you sure we can beat this boss just as easily? Not only do we still have to pass a difficult test lane, but we didn't bring any powerful weapons with us. So what do you suggest we do?
It's too early to think about that. By the way, these logs are much more difficult than usual. And then there's this whole ordeal that I don't even understand.
Hey! Looks like we're gonna have to jump onto platforms here. And you know, I'm not gonna get it right the first time. I don't really want to fall in the lava, so you're gonna have to wait for me to get all the way up here.
Well, why don't you try the challenge and I'll go look at the boss room.
Yeah.
I think I might find a weapon in there. And I was right. It's got some pretty cool weapons to fight with.
Way! I mean, that's just great.
Yeah.
Just make sure the villager doesn't see you, because if he hits you, I don't think you're gonna make it.
All right, I think we're good to go. And to see how strong this villager is, I want to shoot him with everything I've got. It's just that if that doesn't work, we better run away for a while.
I think we're gonna be able to destroy it.
What the?
Not many people survive a bomb like that. Although if you look closely, there's not a scratch on the villager yet. That's very strange.
No, to keep an eye on him, those bombs work really well on him.
Seriously?
And if I help myself with my bow, I can take him down pretty soon. I thought the boss fight was going to be a challenge, but it was easy.
Don't forget we were just lucky enough to find a good weapon right in the boss room.
Yes!
If we didn't have it, we wouldn't have been able to defeat him. And now we need to find the rewards for defeating this boss.
Yeah!
You're right, there's gotta be a cool bounty.
Whoa.
And look, there's elytras right there. And next to them, endless fireworks. So now we can safely get to our chunks and celebrate our victory.
Wow. I thought the reward was diamonds or other jewelry. But this reward is even better, because now we can fly as much as we want. Let's just test them out already.
Of course, let's fly faster.
Yeah.
We have nothing to do on this island anyway, because we have done and gotten everything here.
way.
And I hope the villagers haven't gotten their numbers back while we've been here.
It seems that things are the same on our islands as they were before we left. So now we can put them out and make them look nice again. We won't be attacked again, will we?
Mikey, I think we're in trouble again.
What?
Look at the villager island. I don't know how,
way.
but it looks like they were able to rebuild. And there's even more villagers now than there were before.
Oh my god, how did this even happen?
Oh.
So now we have to prepare for another battle? We don't even have any defenses. So it's time to make our chunks stronger.
Yes!
I'm going to do an electric fence along my chunk, and I think it'll help me fight off my opponents. I suggest you do the same if you have what it takes.
Well, I certainly don't have a fence like yours, so I'll just make a big wall out of dirt. Hopefully it'll at least do something to stop the villagers from attacking. And listen, why don't we just shoot them?
I think it wouldn't hurt to set more traps, and we'll be shooting at them with guns, of course. I just don't think there'll be enough against such a large army, but we'll do our best.
I still don't understand where they all came from in the first place. It's like they have an assembly line of villagers, and we could be on vacation by now. But instead, we're preparing for a real war.
Mikey, at least I'm sure it'll be our last fight.
Really?
And if we can win, we'll never be threatened again. Which means we can move on with our chunks and develop them.
You're right. We don't have much time left.
Whoa!
And I think I've already done everything I can to defend my chunk. The problem is, they'll go straight to me and then to you.
Oh no!
So why don't you come to my aid right away?
Of course we'll fight together. You just wait a little while, because I've got a couple things to do inside my house. And then I'll fortify your defenses a little bit, and we'll wait for the enemy together.
Great. Then I'll wait for you. And I think the villagers are starting to make a lot of noise, which can only mean one thing. Pretty soon they'll be running to attack. And that's the real scary part.
You really think they can beat us? It's just not possible. So don't be afraid.
And that's it. The battle begins.
Boom, boom, boom!
I'm ready to destroy every villager who gets their hands on it. And I will spare no one. If you need anything, just holler, and I'll come to your aid.
Mikey, it looks like they even have some tactics, because they do not run all together at us, and a little bit by little build a path to then conveniently run to our chunks.
No way!
And I don't like that at all.
But it's gonna be okay, right?
Yes!
We still have barbed wire, and if a villager falls on it, he's a goner. So we can just stand by and watch them destroy themselves.
You're right. So far, we've been lucky. But if there are more and more of them, the fence will break sooner or later. So I'm going to do a little archery on them. That way, we'll definitely have an advantage in the fight.
Look, if we're doing so well, why don't we go on the offensive?
Whoa.
If we sit on our base, we can't win anyway. This way, we have a chance to take them down quickly
Oh.
and get back to our place.
You're right. I don't want to just sit around and wait anymore. But how did this happen?
JJ, are you okay?
Yes.
I'm so glad you made it to the ladder. And I'll fight the villagers while you go up.
Whoa!
I don't think I can hold off this many enemies for long.
Hang on, Mikey. I'm on my way.
Whoa.
And as soon as I get up there, the villagers are finished.
Yeah. You won't believe this, but I was able to beat them all,
What
even though there were only a handful of them left. So we won the war?
Well done, Mikey. We now have 3 whole chunks and a separate island. That's so cool.